So hello guys, um today we want to be working on this is basic body pattern for a plus size body pattern for plus size plus size. So this is the measurement you're working with. For what will make you know that you're working for a plus size measurement, maybe someone sent you a measurement. I want you to make my dress. The person is not physically available, and the person sent you this measurement. By the man looking at the bust, at the waist, your mind would have told you at that point that you're working for a plus size measurement. So once you see bust 50 is plus size, once you see waist 40 is plus size. So right now I will be teaching you guys on how to work on this appropriately. Then after this, doing the mathematical aspect of this, then we'll go into the pattern drafting. So right now, these are when we talk about circumferences. Hold on, excuse. So when we talk about circumferences, for example, if you want to take your bust measurement, these are circumference round the bust parts. Is you're going to take it round the bust part. I want to explain very well. That is why I'm making this video. Round the bust area is your circumference, which will be divided by 4. Any measurement you take round like this, like we are seeing this bust 50, should be divided by 4. Divided by 4. Do you understand? Then we will now talk about the waist. Round the waist circumference. All these things are round the waist. You take your round waist measurement. When you take your round waist measurement, it should be like this. With your index finger, you know you're dividing it by 4 also. Round your underbust. RUB is round underbust. Should be divided by 4. Whatever thing you're taking round should be divided by 4. The reason because in pattern we have half of this place, we have half of this place, we have half of the back and half of the other side. That is, you're taking the full measurement. You should be divided by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 should be divided by 4. They will not talk about the shoulder. You're not taking round the shoulder. Assuming you're taking round the shoulder, when you're doing shoulder off shoulder and you're taking your shoulder like this, you're taking round your shoulder, you should divide it by 4. But in this case, your shoulder is from this point of the bone to the other side. From here to here is what you're now dividing by 2, because you're just taking the measurement of the back, not just the front. You're taking just the measurement for the back. You are using the back to also drag the front. So you're going to divide this one by, this 17 should be divided by 2. This is then we talk about the hip. Round your hip circumference. When you take round your hip circumference, it should be divided by 4 also. Any measurement that goes round the body should be divided by 4, because you're not just dividing, you're dividing 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I hope you understand what I mean by that. So right now we're not taking the shoulder, from the shoulder to the bust point. There is what we call shoulder to the bust point. That is from the shoulder to your nipple point. Do you understand? This shoulder to the bust point is from your shoulder to your nipple, where your nipple is. If you're wearing a bra, just take the measurement from your shoulder to your nipple point. That is where this shoulder to bust point is. So this one, there is nothing to be divided. These are measurement that you'll be taking in your pattern paper. When the time comes, I'll still explain to you guys. So there's nothing to be divided here. So here right now we have shoulder to the underbust, which is from your shoulder, you go down the underbust. You go down the underbust. Then we have shoulder to the waist, which is 20. When you take shoulder to the waist, from here to your normally the standard measurement for this is 2 inches above the navel, but you can take the measurement. You can take your client measurement. Don't just assume from here to this point, which mine is 18. But for this client I'm working for, her own is 20. Then after that, we'll now go to the armhole measurement, which will be taken. This one, you cannot just determine the armhole measurement. Only what you can do is to get your armhole. Formula for armhole is 50 divided by 6 plus 1.5. So for this client, when you divide 50 divided by 6 plus 1.5, you actually have what we call 9.8. You actually have what we call 9.8. But to be on a safer side, you can now, instead of using this 9.8, you can also use 9.5, because you don't want that area to be open. Why some people remove this 5, that is 50 divided by 6 plus 1, whichever one that works for you. But at this point, instead of using 9.8 or 10, when you use 10, the armhole area is possible for the armhole area to be very visible, which will not be good on your client. And what you will now do, you can now reduce it to 9.5, which will work perfectly for your client. So right now, this is how to get your armhole measurement. Why I'm explaining all these things, when I go into the drafting, it will be easier for you guys to understand this part very well. So right now, the next thing we are going to do is when you're drafting for a busty person, you know that bust is meant to be very big. It's not like some people with smaller bursts, or bust 36 to 40. Working with people with 30 with this kind of bust, what I normally do is like this. We would calculate the formula for the bust, working with bust person. When you have bust 50 like this, you're going to divide bust 60 divided by 2. When you divide your bust 50 for the front pattern, you divide your bust 50 divided by 2. Do you understand? Is equals to 25. Is equals to 25. Then in this 25, you will still divide it, 25 plus 2, you are adding plus 2 to it, because the front area is fuller than the back area. When you add plus 2 to it, it will give you what? 27. So now this 27 you now divide this 27 by 2. I don't know if you understand this point. What I did, let me come again. For a busty person, to get the accurate measurement for the bust area, because the bust is very full, more than the back. So what you now do is to divide your 50, you divide your bust, her bust, or the person's bust divided by 2, which will give you 25. Instead of divided by 4, you divide by 2, which will give you 25, plus 2 inches. Do you understand? When you include 2 inches, it will give you 27. 27 divided by 2 will give you what? Let's quickly do it here. Yeah, you do 27 divided by 2. It will give you 13.5. Equals to 13.5. You can see that it will give you 13.5. So right now, for the back part, you now do 50 divided by 2 will give you 25. Here you will now deduct minus 2. If you give it 25 divided by minus 2 will give you what? 23, equals to 23 divided by 2. So this is the formula for it. This is the formula for your plus size measurement. So we now do 23 divided by 2, which is 11.5. We now have 11.5. So for here is the back. Why here is for the front. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm doing right now. So for here is the back. Why here is for the front. So having done this, I don't know if you guys understood what I'm doing here. So the next thing, how you would now take the measurement for the waist, you will still apply the same formula for the waist. Yeah, you still apply the same formula for plus size waists. Yeah, so this is the formula for plus size waist measurement, and the waist measurement we are working with here is 40. We have waist 40 for this my client. You know, when somebody have waist 40, just like me, my waist is 30. I don't really have stomach like that. So we now imagine someone with waist 40, all this space are where fat is or where her stomach is. So this is waist 40 here. You can see the difference between 30 and 40. That is extra 10 inches inclusive to my own measurement. So right now, how you will get it, because whatever thing you're doing, just consider the back being flat and the front being fuller. So right now, how you will do get your waist measurement, you will go with 40 divided by 2. That's same 2 instead of 4 for the front. 40 divided by 2 will give us 20 minus 1. This is for the back. Yeah, for the back part, sorry. Yeah, for the back, 40 divided by 2. Well, let me indicate so that you guys don't be confused. Let me indicate. For the back, for the back, minus 1, it will give us 20, that is 19, equals to 19 divided by 2. 19 divided by 2 will give us what? 19 divided by 2 will give us, I think, 9. Yeah. It will give us 9.5, which will give us 9.5. 9.5. This is for the back. This is for the back. Why for the front? For the front is 40 divided by 2 plus 1. You're including 1 inches to the front and taking that 1 inch from the back to align together. So right now when we have that, 40 divided by 2 is what? 20 plus 1 is 21 divided by 2. We'll give us 21 divided by 2 is what? Half, which is 10 and half, or 10.5. Sorry, let's do 10.5 so that you guys understand better. So right now, this is it here. So right now, the next thing for us to do is to draft it and the pattern paper for you to understand better. Keep watching. Go nowhere. Bye.